Most people think the secret to scaling meta ads is creatives or targeting. That's like putting racing stripes on your car to make it go faster. I've generated over 100 million for clients on meta ads and millions more for my own business. So in this video, I'm giving you the 10 hacks I wish I knew sooner, starting with hack number 1. And this is the one thing that decides whether your ads win or lose before you even touch the ad account. When I first started running ads, I was burning money every single month and I had no idea why. I was testing everything the gurus preach, from all the creative formats and media buying hacks, because I was convinced this would crack the algorithm, but nothing was working. Then one day I looked at my own buying behavior and I noticed the stuff that I actually bought from ads were just really good offers that I couldn't say no to. So I stopped asking myself, how do I beat the algorithm? And I started asking myself, how could I build an offer my market would be stupid saying no to? So I built one for my market of online business owners. My offer guaranteed a 10x ROI on our fees, and clients paid nothing out of pocket to get started. They only paid us after we made the money. And I launched this offer and I had more demand than I could handle almost overnight. And within 180 days, I was doing 6 figures a month on this offer, and I barely touched my creatives for over a year. It just ran. And that's when it clicked. By far, the most important piece of running ads profitably is the strength of your offer. Get it right, and everything downstream is on easy mode. If you get it wrong, you can do everything else perfectly and still lose. So spend disproportionate time on your offer. And on meta ads, your offer has to check 3 key boxes. 1, it has to provide an outcome people are willing to spend money on. And as long as your product helps people either make more money, improve their health, or improve their relationships, you're good to go. These are the 3 core desires. Number 2, it has to provide that outcome in a new, unique way, whether it gets them the result faster, cheaper, or with less risk, or you've got some product feature no one else has. If your market can't immediately see how your offer gets them the outcome they want in a new, unique way, your ads will fail. So spend real time here. And then number 3, it has to be priced in a way that's viable on ads. If you're selling a $10 product with dollar clicks, you need to convert at 10% just to break even, which is damn near impossible. But at $300, that same click can convert at 1%, and you're already at a 3x return on ad spend just from the economics. So when you're building your offer for ads, ask yourself, is it something people want? Is it unique? And is it economically viable? If it's not, tweak it until it is. Which brings me to hack number 2, and this one flips the way you think about creatives. When I started testing ads for my agency, there were a few key selling points I could lead with in my creatives. I could lead with the 10x ROI, or pay nothing out of pocket, or that we had a full stack team. But instead of combining all of these selling points into single ads, I made a different ad highlighting each one individually as the core message to see which one would work best. And when I did this, the results shocked me. Of the ads I tested, the 10x ROI message won by a mile. It had the highest click-through rate, cheapest traffic, and most leads. And not just by a little, by a factor of more than 20x. And that's when I realized the biggest lever in creative testing is actually the message being shown. So here's the hack. Reframe creative testing into message testing, because a great message with terrible editing and audio will be a perfectly edited ad with a weak message every single time. So you want to rapidly test messages until you find the message that resonates the most with your market. And then you take that message and test it across different video and image formats to get as much juice as possible from it. But none of this matters if you test at the speed most people do, which is exactly what hack number 3 fixes. My first mentor was the fastest operator I've ever seen. And one line he told me hit me like a train. We were in a meeting arguing about why some people get results with ads and most people don't. And he paused and thought about it for a second and said, the only difference between me and those people is by the time they failed once, I've already failed 20 times and figured out what works. And this is true. I'd be in meetings with this guy and he'd get an idea for an ad mid-meeting, say 1 second, mute himself, then film the ad, then hand that ad to the editor, and it'd be live in the ad account within the hour. And half the time I'd hear back the ad and think, this wasn't even a good ad, but he didn't give a shit. He wanted the market feedback as soon as possible because he knew the faster he could get that feedback, the faster he could figure out what worked. Now, I was the opposite. I'd overthink every script, and I was terrified of being judged, so I executed super slow. Until one day I said, screw it, I'm tired of being broke, so I pulled out my phone and recorded a super rough ad. And that ad became a winner that I scaled past 6 figures a month. And that's the whole game. The faster your feedback loops are, the faster you find out what works. The best advertisers aren't necessarily smarter than you. They just launch and test faster. So the second you have an idea, get it live as soon as possible, because you'll never figure out if it works in your own head. The market will give you the answer, but but only after you put something in front of them. Now, speed only matters if what you put out actually stops to scroll, which is hack 4. When I was in marketing meetings with my first mentor, where he spent his time completely shocked me. He'd spent 80% of his time figuring out a single thing: the hook of the campaign. And the hook is the angle of the campaign that cuts through the noise and pulls in your ideal customer. And he would not leave that freaking meeting until he felt that we had a killer hook for the campaign, because he knew the hook is the biggest factor that determines whether an ad succeeds or not, apart from the offer. And once I learned this from him, I started spending disproportionate time creating hooks my target market couldn't resist. Like, look at my top performing ads: 10x ROI guarantee, hire a 7-figure copywriter for less than minimum wage, hire a full-time marketing team for $500 a month. The reason these campaigns drove so much demand is the hook was irresistible. So when you're creating ads, spend most of your time figuring out the hook. And to get good at this, here's what I recommend you do. 1, build a swipe file of the best hooks in your space and the best ads of all time. Study enough of these and your brain starts understanding the patterns of winning hooks. Number 2, write hooks constantly for your own ads or any random product you find. The more you do this, the better you'll get at creating scroll stopping hooks. But a great hook still needs something holding the whole ad together, and hack 5 is the closest thing to a cheat code I've found. When I was losing money early on, I stopped trying to invent ads from scratch and instead studied the biggest B2B brands making millions a month from Facebook ads, which were Gym Launch, Hyros, and Closers.io. And I noticed something wild. Their ads all followed the exact same structure to a T, which was the following: call out the outcome the market wants, guarantee that outcome, show proof you can deliver it, and then have a clear call to action. So once I saw that pattern, I stole the structure. I called out the outcome of increasing revenue, guaranteed a 10x ROI, showed client results in the ad, and ended with, if you like what you see, book a call. And when I did that and followed that structure, my ad started crushing it almost immediately. So here's the hack. Frameworks are cheat codes. They give your ad structure so it doesn't bounce all over the place, and they force you to hit the right psychological triggers that get people in a state to take action. So don't reinvent the wheel. Either study the classic frameworks like ADA or PAS, or reverse engineer your competition. Pull the top ads in your niche, transcribe them, and then find the pattern. It's almost always right in front of you. And if you want hundreds of proven frameworks we use to scale ads every single day, grab our free resource, Advertiser's Playbook. The link's in the description or the pinned comment below. It's like a cheat code for scaling ads, so go ahead and get that. All right, that's how you build ads that work. But hack number 6 is the most contrarian one on the list, because the biggest lever in this entire game has almost nothing to do with your ads. A while back, I hit a wall in my own agency where we were bottlenecked and couldn't scale past a few $1,000s a day in ad spend because the return wasn't strong enough. And everyone's advice at the time was the same: more creative and more testing. And I ignored all of that and I looked at my economics instead. The main offer we were selling was a $2,500 6-week engagement. So I created a second offer at more than double the price that my sales team could pitch leads with bigger budgets. And what's funny is we started selling more units of this higher priced offer than our initial offer, which completely changed my return on ad spend and let me keep scaling the ads. Because here's what almost nobody tells you: ads are fundamentally a game of economics. Whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins, because Meta's a bidding platform. It doesn't care how clever your creative is, it cares who feeds it the most money. And the only two things that really move your economics is, number 1, stronger front-end offers that get you customers at better returns, and number 2, stronger back-end upsell sequences that make you more money per customer. Creatives and media buying barely touch those two levers. So when your ads can't scale profitably, stop asking, how do I make more creatives? Instead, ask, what's the biggest lever I can pull to change my economics? But you can't spot the right lever by feel. You find it in the numbers. And that's hack 7, the part most people are too scared to look at. When I first started working with my mentor, who was an ads expert, I thought he'd teach me all the sexy media buying tricks. So targeting hacks, scaling tactics, creative strategy, but that's not what happened. The first thing he drills into me was math. So every campaign we launched started the same way. What's our target cost per result? And what metrics are required to make it happen? So say our target cost per result's $100 and we project our cost per click at $2. To get 100 clicks, we spend $200, which means our website needs to convert at 2% to hit that $100 target. So before we spent a single cent on ads, we knew our success numbers and we'd monitor them like a hawk. So if something slipped, we knew exactly which lever to fix. There wasn't any guessing. And here's the kicker: I was never a numbers guy growing up. I was bad at math at school and I was scared of numbers. But I realized if I wanted to be a good advertiser, I had to lean into numbers instead of running away from them, because numbers give you clarity. Without them, you're gonna fly blind and you're burning cash. With them, ad stops being scary and you start seeing the matrix. So before you spend $1, know your target cost per result and work backwards to the conversion rate and cost per click you need. You can either use your own data if you have it, or market benchmarks if you don't. Don't fall victim to the belief of, oh, I'm not a numbers person, because that mindset and belief will keep you broke. Lean into numbers and your ads will thank you. And once you know your numbers, hack 8 finally becomes possible, the one that quietly kills more ad accounts than anything else on the list. One of our clients dropped $30,000 in sales overnight. So the Slack channel caught fire and the client started throwing out all these theories and changes we should make to fix the ads. But before we actioned anything, we looked at the data, and the biggest variable that changed was their conversion rate, which dropped overnight. So we dug deeper, and what we found was almost no PayPal orders were coming in, when previously, PayPal was roughly 30% of total orders, which was super strange. So we looked at the order form, and guess what we found? The PayPal button was broken. So anyone who tried to order on PayPal couldn't process their order. And all we had to do to fix this $30,000 a day problem was fix the damn checkout button, and sales went back to normal. Now, if we panicked and started changing everything, we'd have broken a business that was working perfectly fine over a simple tech fix. And the lesson here is to remain rational. Emotions kill when you're running ads. It makes you overreact, burn money, and change 10 things when you should have changed 1. So when you open the ad account, flip a switch where emotions stay at bay and you let data and logic guide your decision making. And when you do this, you'll be less reactive and make better decisions that will allow you to scale your ads further. Now, staying rational is what lets you do hack 9 right, finding the one bottleneck holding your account back. To a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That quote right there sums up the main mistake advertisers make. When most people's ads stall, they reach for the only tool they know to fix it, which in most cases is either more creatives or media buying, instead of fixing the real root cause issue. For example, in my own business, we hit another wall where we couldn't scale our ads, and ROAS slid from a 3x to under 2x, which wasn't profitable enough based on our margins. So I mapped out the entire funnel and I looked at the data, and our traffic costs and landing page conversion rates were the same, but I noticed my sales team closing rate had gone down from 20% to 10%, so it cut in half. That was a problem. So all my energy went into fixing that one thing. So I got on a call with my sales team and I asked them why the closing rate dropped. And they told me the leads they were talking to were colder than before, which made sense because we were spending more money on ads, so we were naturally reaching colder audiences. So I fixed that exact thing by creating content my sales reps could send to these prospects to warm them up. And I also built objection-specific landing pages my sales reps could show leads, as well as hiring a sales manager to coach them and hold them accountable. And by doing those 3 things, closing rate recovered and the account kept scaling. So what you need to understand is your ads will scale until they hit a constraint. And when they stall, your only job is to find that one thing and fix it. And to do this, map your funnel end to end, look at your traffic cost, conversion rate, and revenue per customer, because these 3 variables make your return on ad spend. Then compare today's metrics to when things were working well. Find the biggest area that slipped, and then pour all of your energy into fixing it so your ads can continue to scale. And when they do take off, hack 10 is what separates the people who win big from everyone else who wins small. Here's a small version of it from my own business. I was spending $300 a day with one sales rep, making about $1,500 a day back. I was basically printing money, so I decided to scale things up. So I hired 3 more sales reps, which meant I now had to fill their calendars. So I had to go from $300 a day to $1,000 a day in ad spend. And back then, $1,000 a day was a lot of money leaving my account. And there wasn't a big safety net. Like if this didn't work out, I'd be in a rough spot financially. But I knew I had a good hand and the data backed it up. So I took the shot and I scaled up the ads. And when I did that, the calendars started getting filled and my sales reps started closing those deals. And we went from $1,500 a day to over $3,000 a day in sales in just a few weeks. So I doubled my business just by ramping spend. So when your ads are profitable and you have a good hand, be decisive and don't be afraid to ramp things up, because opportunities don't last forever. And this doesn't mean being reckless. It means when the data and results are in your favor, bet big, because the power of meta ads is when you have a good hand, you can reach massive scale very quickly. So there you go, 10 meta ads hacks I wish someone told me years ago, and I hope you found these helpful. Now, if you want all our winning ads, emails, and split tests we use every single day to scale ads, go get our free advertisers playbook. It's the best free resource online to help you scale your ads further. Links in the description to get it. So go grab it, and I'll see you inside.